Final Fantasy XIV is a massive game with thousands of hours of content. What I'm going to do here is break down some of the major plot points for those of you who want to know more about Eorzea, but may not have time to experience it all firsthand. Today, we're picking up with part 3 of the Return to Ivalice Storyline. When we last left off, you and your allies had tracked down Begamnon at the Ridorana lighthouse, but he had already been corrupted by the Auracite and was turned into a monster. Now, the time has come to explore the lighthouse and the ruins of the clockwork city of Gaug beneath it. The lighthouse is incredibly dangerous, filled with powerful beasts that you have to fight your way past. Despite an untold amount of centuries passing, the city's technology still works. The transportation nodes send you through the place, but the city's defenses are still active as well. A massive robot known as Construct 7, looks exactly like Worker 8 for you Final Fantasy Tactics fans, guards the uppermost reaches of the city, and he attacks you with the deadliest weapon of all, math. He has lasers too, but math is definitely his deadliest tool. After you deal with him, you run into Begamnon again. The Auracite makes his body turn into a massive dragon-like thing, and once you bring him down, you retrieve the Auracite that he stole. Ramza also notices his necklace, and he mistakes it for his mother's. When he reaches to pick it up, it sparkles and he passes out. You bring him back to the ship, and while he's unconscious calling for his sister, the rest of you study the two necklaces. The stones in them are different, but they were clearly made by the same person. Mikoto notices that even though the stones are shaped differently, they were cut from the very same crystal. The Mughals feel the power coming from the stones, although no one else does, and they know it to be Auracite. The necklace that Begamnon had was given to him by Prince Rosler and was meant to be returned to Princess Ashelia once they got her out of Navana. It seems like the different pieces of Auracite are guiding your group closer to Ivalice. The other pieces of Auracite had held the will of their previous owners, and Mikoto gets the idea that maybe the previous owners of the Auracite and the necklaces simply wanted to return to Ivalice. The question now is, who were those owners? Ramza wakes and his entire demeanor is changed. He starts talking about Ramza Beov, his ancestor, and how he had wanted people to return to his homeland and uncover the truth behind its founding. And the reason the Auracite led you all to Lusalia and Gaug was to see if you deserved to know the truth. He sounds so certain that he's right that Lena questions how does he know all of this, since nothing that you've uncovered even remotely would have led to that conclusion. Ramza, quite politely, asks that Lena trust him. The respectful way that he addresses her catches her off guard, and he's even nice to his sister. Mont Blanc mutters that he senses a disturbance in the ether. I'm not even going to explain that reference, you should already know it. But Ramza is obviously different. He touches the Auracite and begins to glow before taking a seat, seemingly exhausted. Alma goes to check on him and he snaps at her. Of course the change in personality was too good to last, and he's back to being an insufferable prick again. When you return to check on everyone, Lena thinks that something is wrong with Alma, but she doesn't want to talk about it around outsiders, so you follow her back to the Prima Vista. Genomus is surprised to see you return so soon, but when you reveal that Lena told you something was wrong with Alma, Ramza gives you a quick rundown. Alma's sick, but doctors can't figure out what's wrong with her. Physically she's fine, so they think maybe the long journey is taking a toll on her. Alma comes out of her room at the sound of voices, but she collapses and Ramza helps her back to her chambers while Genomus discusses the next stage of the expedition. The two previous places you went, Lusalia and Gaug, both appear in the Durai papers, and the discovery of each place is making it harder to deny the truth of the words, but Genomus' aim of having Oran Durai cleared of the accusations of the church and proving Ramza Beov's role in helping Delita become king is still not done. He has a location in mind that may hold clues to furthering his cause, but getting there safely is a bit tricky. He has the Mughals working on a solution, and Ramza not only praises their hard work, but thanks them for it. Lena's reporter senses start tingling because Ramza has been a jerk for too long to all of a sudden become a nice guy without being suspicious. Mikoto seems to notice as well, but Genomus is only focused on his mission. The only way to clear his ancestor's name is to find evidence of Ramza Beov's role in Ivalice's history. That very thought led Genomus to discovering a struggle with a powerful, unknown force during the War of the Lions. The Lucavi, or the monsters that were born from the Auracite, were what Ramza fought while the War of the Lions raged on around him. He and his allies fought them until they reached the Orban monastery. It was the place where Princess Ovelia, the woman who Delita married, was raised, but it was also the place that housed the being who created the Auracite, Ultima, the High Seraph. It is possible that the spell that was used by the Asians against you came from that very creature. Having seen how powerful that spell was, imagine how powerful Ultima herself might be. From Mikoto's research, Ultima appearing on Hydaelyn at all shouldn't have been possible, so it's likely from a different dimension entirely, a lot like Omega. Sid arrives comparing Ultima to the creature that he's been dealing with. I swear I'm going to cover the story, guys. It's coming, don't worry. Mikoto had requested something from Sid, but she'd expected a Moogle to deliver it, not for Sid to bring it personally. Lena's more interested in the location of the Orban monastery, but Genomas has no idea where it is. The Darai papers, however, mention a place southeast of Rabanastre, where a monastery may be on the River Zashel. The name is not on any modern maps, but thanks to the Moogles, Ramza believes it's in Golmore. The problem is that the area you need to visit is in Viera territory, and the bunny race murders almost anyone who trespasses on their land. Moogles' magic hid them for long enough for them to see ruins like those in Lasalia and Gog, but then they had to flee for their lives. The only hope of getting into that land is to recruit one of the Viera who have abandoned their people's code and left their homeland, but the turmoil in the nation has made it difficult to find a recruit. Before boarding the ship, someone had asked Sid to deliver a message to you that Abanga was looking for you, and he hands over the device he had crafted for Mikoto, although he didn't have a subject to test it on, so he doesn't know if it actually works. With his business done, he heads off. Mikoto takes you to the side to tell you about the device and what she's discovered about Alma's condition. She believes the Aurosite is poisoning her. Alma had told Mikoto of how she heard Genomas talking to the Odious long before he went to Rabanastre, but she doesn't think that's entirely true. She thinks the Aurosite showed her a vision that made her think her father was talking to it. The reason Mikoto had thought the Odious was empty when she tested it was because it had already bound itself to Alma's deepest desires. The only reason she hasn't changed like Begamnon is because her desires may not be as strong, as well as the presence of the other Aurosite on the ship. Mikoto told Alma to destroy the necklace, but she wouldn't, and she begged her not to tell her father. So Mikoto took other measures and designed a device that should lessen the effects of the Odious by amplifying the energy emitted from the Virgo Aurosite in Alma's mother's necklace. As usual, one of the Moogles interrupts you, claiming that a Bongan loitering around the airship landing is causing an uproar in the city, reminding you that Sid did say one was looking for you. The Bongan turns out to be Bwagi, and he needed to speak with you about something important. Alone. Of course, the Moogle refuses to leave, asking Bwagi for help getting through the Golmore jungle since he's so well traveled. Bwagi had come to get you to meet someone, and since you did help him with Begamnon, he decides to bring both you and the Moogle. You board his ship, and he takes you to Rabanastre. With Begamnon gone, Bwagi and his friends joined the Dalmascan resistance. After Doma had won his freedom with a lot of help from you, of course, Dalmasca had tried its hand and was crushed by the 4th Legion. The resistance leaders were publicly executed, but that only made the survivors fight harder. There are a number of separate factions fighting, and Bwagi and his crew joined a group called Lent's Tier. When their commander heard that Bwagi knew you, she insisted that he introduce you. Their commander is a Viera named Fran, and yes, it is the Fran from Final Fantasy XII, and she knows of the place that you want to go. It is sacred to her people, yet you travel with Garleans, so she has very little reason to help you. If you want her to help, then she wants you to go to your allies and get them to provide resources and men to aid in their fight with the Garleans. Because of your reputation, you are more likely to get assistance than an outsider. If you do this, Fran will personally guide you to Orban, you and your Garlean allies. With the negotiations done, Bwagi takes you back to Kugane so you can get to work on fulfilling your end of the deal. And that's where we're going to stop for today. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on the next video.